I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBN, we're stepping back in time with the roaring 1920s and a sweeping historical debut that blends love, betrayal, ambition, and family loyalty. We're talking with a terrific author. Her name is Victoria Lustbader, and she has penned a wonderful book. It is called Hidden. The book captures New York City's Lower East Side and elite uptown society, telling a story of forbidden desire, sacrifice, and survival. With its rich characters and timeless themes, Hidden reminds us that nothing is more enduring than human feeling and the struggles of the heart. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on TV today. We ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Victoria, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you. It's my great pleasure. I appreciate your appreciation of my work so much. That's what we do it for, right?
Absolutely. You've done a
Yep.
great job on this book. You've really captured a unique era in New York City history and American history, the Roaring Twenties. What inspired you to explore this era and pen a novel about it?
It's interesting. I really didn't think I was going to write a historical. I really wanted to explore the themes that you were talking about, mostly the damage that we do to ourselves when we are not allowed to, or we believe we're not allowed to express who we really are. And although, especially now, I wrote the book quite a while ago, and especially now, since we seem to be going backwards a little bit with inclusion and getting along together, I kind of felt that some of the themes I wanted to deal with would be easier to put in a past that was more repressive, that people might read what I was writing. And if I put it in the present, they'd say, oh, you can be gay now, you can be this now. It's not, why is this so difficult? And then when I started doing the research, it was like, oh my God, this era is so amazing. There was so rich, such a rich. So there was that, and part of it also was that my father was an immigrant from Lithuania. And although none of it is his story per se, I had a pretty rich background in the Lower East Side and his work situation there and stuff. So there was a lot there to do.
My dad grew up on the Lower East Side as
Ah,
well, on
really?
William Street, born in 1918. So he grew up in this era. So I'm a
Yeah,
little bit familiar with it and, the stories that he used to tell as well. Now, you have a background as a fiction editor.
right.
Tell us a little bit about how being an editor shaped your storytelling.
Oh, yeah, very much. Yeah, I don't want to sound full of myself, but I do remember and I still am a good editor. My husband is a best-selling novelist and I'm his editor,
Mhm.
still. But I do remember editing other people's work and sometimes thinking, I could do this. I could do this better. But I did learn really how to develop character, what made a good book, what made a character come alive, what set a good pace, what drew me in. And I guess I had some natural talent. So by the time I was ready to write, it was just all there, ready to go.
Wonderful. Well, you could be your
Yeah.
own writer and your own editor and hear the
Yeah,
voice of your
well,
head telling you, no, 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 no
yeah.
shortcuts here.
It's funny you say that, but even a good writer and a good editor needs an editor, because
Of
when you're that
course.
close to your own material, I don't know, you don't have perspective
Yep,
sometimes
you,
on your own
you
material.
absolutely need a second set of eyes to look at it and to step back and, like you said, give a unique perspective of
Yeah,
their own, without a doubt.
yeah.
Let's give the folks at home an overview of the story. Tell them a
Okay.
little bit about it.
Well, the story basically is about two young men, one from the Lower East Side, poor immigrant family, one from a quite wealthy industrial financial family on the Upper East Side, both of whom in their own ways are really unhappy with their lives and want to escape their lives, and really don't know how. And they use the opportunity of joining the army to go to the World War I, as a way of changing their lives. And they meet very unexpectedly and in an enlistment line. And the older, the richer boy, who is a closeted gay man, just basically without realizing it, falls in love with this young Jewish boy.
Mm.
And they end up going to the war together and forming an incredible bond. And the richer boy brings David, the Jewish boy, home. David changes his name, joins this other society, leaves what he believed he wanted to leave behind. And it really is the story of David's rise, Jed's trying to live in the world that his culture, his society, his class, his parents want him to live in. Both of them really having to deny heritages to become who they really want to become, and either succeeding or failing. And it's really, the title came to me like immediately before I even wrote the book, because I knew that that was the theme. The theme was really that all the things that we tell ourselves, society tells us, our class, our religion, whatever, that we can't be, or that we can't show that we are.
Exactly.
So
And like you said, particularly in that era, but not so easy today either
not so
when you see
easy
what's
ever,
happening.
honestly.
Yeah.
We'd like to think so. I mean, some things, of course, do get better and worse, but in that time, certain things really were taboo. Yeah.
Verboten, as they say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as they
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
This novel seems very theatrical on some levels that I think it would be a great film.
I
I
agree.
mean, one of my favorites, I know we have more in the passing of Robert Redford today. Apparently he died. I've heard
Yes, I
that.
just saw that. Oh,
Yeah, at a relatively young age by today's standards. And,
oh
you know,
man.
he
Yeah.
said, to me, he'll always be Jay Gatsby. And that kind of brought that era to life on Long Island, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yes.
What about bringing your story, Hidden, to life with Jed
Oh,
and David and those characters in World War II?
well, if you know
Um,
anybody who wants to do it,
I know.
I do all of my books. I do write very cinematically
Yeah,
because I visualize every scene. Include sometimes I even get up and walk around and see who's sitting where and whatever.
yeah,
But yes, I mean the book is, and I don't mean this as a put down. It's kind of melodramatic. It's
mhm,
dramatic. It's big.
yeah,
It's the era, wonderful time in New York. I would love that. There was interest, but it wasn't from a real professional person. My agent at the time said to not do it.
right.
So yeah, it's frustrating. My
Yeah,
husband's going through the same thing with some of his books that are
yeah.
incredibly filmable. I don't have to tell you, I
There's
think.
too many talented people out there. That's the problem. That
Exactly.
there is so much material out there. To get noticed is
Yeah,
very, very difficult. But you've
it is.
done the important work. You've put the story forward. You've published it. So now hopefully it winds up in the right hands and somebody says, "Hey, this would
Uh,
be a terrific film or a terrific series." I could see it as a
I
Netflix
would love that.
series.
And the book did get found, has gotten found. It has a nice cultish kind of following. People who find it love it.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm hoping that someone can have that vision, because I agree with you. I think it would make it still, even though historicals may not be as compelling to the industry as they used to be, I think people still love them,
I
and that
think so
would
too.
make a great story. Yeah.
Yeah, I think period pieces people love. I mean, you have to look no further than Downton
Downton
Abbey to
Abbey,
realize that
Gilded
people love
Age.
being immersed in a different world. And that's what filmmaking is about and novel making is
Is
about. It's
about
world
absolutely.
creation, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes.
And
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
speaking of series, this book is about to become a little series as well. You're working on a sequel, right?
I am. I am.
Okay.
It took me a long time, but I've had a pretty good idea of how I want to torture poor David for another 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just starting to do my research now, and I have some, and I'm going to take it through. I would like to take it right after the crash, through the lead into World War II, not to get into World War II, but that era of the 30s when
Yeah.
things here really dramatically changed again.
Sounds wonderful. Now, you did some weaving of real historical figures into your novel. Tell us a little bit about that and why you thought it was important. I'd imagine it's because it made the stories feel more real, right?
Well, always. I think if I mean, I wasn't writing a history, so
Right.
I didn't, the part of the difficulty was in doing the research of deciding what not to use that was real, because there were so many things. But exactly what you said. I mean, so many real things were happening that were important, and people that were important, that you want them to be there, because a lot of them also are touchstones that people know. So it's an easy way to set up a scene or a stage or a situation. And one of the things I really, really tried to do, that one lovely reviewer seemed to agree I'd done well, was to never like do a historic information dump where I'd stop the narrative and just tell you what was. I tried to weave everything,
Exactly.
including clothing styles and everything, into the characters'
Yeah.
lives and behavior. But I
Yeah.
think in writing any historical novel, you need to set it in the real world,
Sure.
it's your foundation, and then you can go and have fun with it. But yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Besides your husband, who are some of your literary influences?
Oh my gosh, I hate when people ask me that. Oh wow. Well, God. Oh, in times past, well, right now, like George Saunders is one of my absolute
Mhm.
favorites. Some really wonderful older women writers, Susan Howich, and
Mhm.
who wrote incredible historic series, both melodramatic and then also kind of really historic. I read a ton, and it's
Mhm.
very, very hard. Don DeLillo, everybody. And it's and I use it for inspiration. Very often I'll read something and I'll think, I could never write that. I just
Mhm.
don't have that. But instead of feeling debased or depressed by it, I think,
Mhm.
okay, what can I learn from this? What could
Mhm.
I do that this person has done? That's great. I was a science fiction and fantasy editor,
Mhm.
actually. So I do read still a lot of science fiction and fantasy, and some of it is great. People don't realize what good writing there is sometimes in
Yeah.
genre. So some of that really informed my writing too. I wish I could be more specific. If I knew you were going to ask, I would have
No,
gone
no,
to my
that
bookshelf.
you've answered the question fully, no doubt.
Good.
And I think every book you read, every film you watch becomes part of you,
Yeah,
particularly the ones that you love and that you really connect with.
yeah.
You know, I'm a big fan of Raymond Chandler, and I'd like
Uh,
to think that he influences my work as a journalist because
yeah.
he was a journalist too. And his work kind of has that real gritty feel about it. So I
Yeah.
think we borrow and stand on the shoulders of giants all the time,
All the
no
time.
doubt.
I mean, that's what art is. The progression of art always is that. Can I
Exactly.
just say, because I just thought of two titles that I'd like to particularly mention. One was Cloud Atlas. They were older titles by David Mitchell,
Hmm.
which was made into a film, which I didn't see. And another one called The Orphan Master's Son, which was a novel about North Korea. Uh, that those if your audience or you have not read them, I can't recommend them enough. They are such works of both imagination and intellect that
Mm-hmm.
are brilliant, and they both really inspired me to not care about what people say you can't do stylistically, to just do what you think is going to work,
Hmm.
and also to weave reality and imagination into the same basket, and just
Wonderful.
go for it.
Wonderful. What do you hope readers ultimately take away from Hidden?
I hope they take away that it's not worth the damage that's going to happen if you try to live an inauthentic life. That it is that whatever you're anticipating going wrong, yeah, you might have to put up with some of it, but in the long run, it's the only way you're going to have a life. And if you don't do it, you're going to lose so much.
Yeah. It's
Um,
hard to stay hidden. That's the problem, right?
it's pretty much impossible. It kills
Yeah.
you. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, it will kill you. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, the name of the book is Hidden. It is a sweeping emotional tale of New York in the 1920s that explores love, power, and the bonds that shape us. Victoria, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Logan. It was a pleasure.
I appreciate your time, your insight, and your great talent in putting forth this wonderful work. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.